guys, welcome back to my channel. So I guess most of you would pretty much know me as an equestrian, and I'm not a professional rider, but I have been doing this for a while now, so I feel like I have like a decent amount of knowledge under my belt at this point. I think I have at least enough to run today's video, which is Equestrian answers the most googled horse questions. So are you serious? So I know this style of video has kind of been around for a while now, but I saw Brad Mondo, who is a hairdresser, he has his own YouTube channel. I saw him do a version the other day that was like hairdresser answers the most googled hair questions, and by the way, I absolutely love him. Highly recommend going and checking him out if you haven't already. He is so funny. But yeah, he did that, and then it kind of twigged my brain. I'm like, I swear that no one has done the equestrian version of this yet. So I'm claiming that I'm like 95% sure no one's done this video yet, so I thought, why not? I do have my lovely assistant with me today, Miss Peach, so maybe I can buzz her in if there's anything I can't actually answer, because, you know, she is an actual horse. We can get the answer straight from the horse's mouth. Truly hate myself for even saying that out loud just now. Maybe we'll just edit that out, hey? Somehow I'm already covered in hay, 5 minutes in, and it's already falling to pieces. You gotta be cleaner. Oh, I know, it's tough. Pretty interested to see what kind of questions we find today. I think some of them could be pretty interesting, but maybe we'll learn something. So let's start with, are horses? Alright, cool. Are horses native to Australia? Alright, I know a lot of people think that there are horses that are native to Australia, but there actually aren't. We do have wild horses here called brumbies, but they are technically classified as feral animals because they were introduced to Australia. I read it the other day. There's some crazy amount that are like still in the wild. Like there's literally almost 500,000 brumbies in Australia, which is so insane. Are horses mammals? Yes, horses are mammals. I did 1 year of biology at university, so I'm technically qualified to answer that question. Are horses colourblind? Okay, so horses aren't colourblind. Wow. That was aggressive. Back to the question. No, horses aren't colourblind, but like human beings see in tricolours. So we've got like, what is it, red, blue, yellow? And I'm pretty sure horses only see in dye colour. So I think they see blue and red or something like that. That might not be exactly right, but they do see colour, but it's not quite as vibrant as what we can see. Are horses smart? So in my opinion, 100% yes, horses are very intelligent. My favourite study is actually one that showed that horses are really good at picking up humans' emotions. They can actually read our facial expressions. So if you're like smiling and happy, they can actually read that, which is pretty incredible to be able to read the emotions of like a totally different species. And then just objectively, like the things you can teach horses are pretty amazing. Like the movements they carry out in like straight dressage, they can do western, they can do barrel racing, they can do liberty, they can learn tricks. That's not intelligent. I don't know what is. Are horses ruminants? I hope I'm saying that right. It didn't sound right once I said it out loud. It sounded right in my head. But I don't think that they are. I'm pretty sure like cows are. I have a feeling it has to do with like fermentation and like the way that they chew their food and the way that they digest. So don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure no, they're not. Are horses herbivores? Okay, so this is like an interesting one because technically yes, horses are herbivores because they only eat like a plant-based diet. But I have heard some very interesting stories about Arabian horses particularly, that apparently they'll actually eat insects and things like that, particularly when like conditions are pretty harsh. So yes and no. I think there's a little bit of stretch. Like when push comes to shove, they're gonna eat a few bugs to stay alive. You got the bag stuck in your nose. Alright, so next up, I'm gonna put in, can horses swim? Yes, they can actually swim. You will often see, if you haven't before, that a lot of racing stables will have like dedicated horse swimming pools where the horses have to swim laps. So yes, they can definitely swim. Okay, the next three are all like eating based. So there's, can horses eat watermelon? Can horses eat bread? And can horses eat celery? Oh, sorry, my bad. There's actually four. And can horses eat bananas? So some of those things horses can definitely eat. I think they can have a little bit of watermelon. They can definitely eat celery, and they can eat bananas. Bread, I think, is a bit of a like on the blurry line. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? There's a really good chart that tells you some of the things they can and can't eat. So I'm literally going to put that up on the screen right Now, because I don't want to be blamed for making anyone's horses sick, and apparently this is the things you can feed them. But in my advice, if in doubt, just don't feed it to them. And then lastly, I've got, can horses vomit? No, they can't vomit, and there is a very good reason for that. Apparently, I read once that because their necks are obviously so long, there's a long distance to travel between where their stomach sits and to get something out, and the pressure it would require for their stomach to get something like that all the way out actually would just be too much for their esophagus and would actually cause damage, because it's a long way to get it up compared to a human being having to throw up. So that is why they can't vomit, because anatomically it's just not right. Just wouldn't work without hurting them. No doubt someone's going to be like, no, you're wrong. And that could be the case, because again, I'm not a vet, but that was something I think I read a few years ago and kind of sounds right to me. Could be wrong, could be right, but they definitely can't vomit. I know that much. Oh, where you going? Back it up. We're on to, do horses, so let's see what we get for that. Do horses have fur? Yes. I don't know what else they would have. We can do a close-up if you want, just to check. Can confirm, horse has fur. Do horses eat hay? Not sure who needs to Google this, but yes, they definitely eat hay. Lots and lots of hay. That's literally what Peach has been eating behind me this entire half of the video. So, do horses lay down? Yep, 100% they definitely do lay down. I know some people get confused because they think they only stand to sleep, but yes, they do also lay down. Do horses sleep standing up? Like I said before, yes, they are able to do that, but they do need to lie down if they want to get proper deep sleep, which they also require. So they do both. Do horses lie down? That's the same as lay down, so like I said, yes they do. You right there? Maybe you need a salt lick if you're gonna... Do you need a salt lick or something? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Okay. So this is the last one, somewhat controversial. Do horses like being ridden? So in my opinion, some definitely do and some definitely don't, and then there's a lot in between that. Peach, for example, I think is neither here nor there on being ridden at the moment. I think it's a bit of a task for her, whereas Fletch loves it. He loves getting out, he loves the attention. I think he quite enjoys the work, and I think he gets quite bored when he's left in the paddock for too long. And then I think there are other horses who would rather literally just be left in the paddock like 24 hours a day, and that to them is like absolute bliss. So I think it really depends on the horse, and I think you definitely know when you're riding them by their attitude as to how willing they are or are not. So yeah, some people aren't going to agree with that, but that's my feeling on it. Peachy. Hey, you don't mind it. You don't mind it too much, hey? Peach in particular just likes this part. The coming out and just getting groomed and having snacks and just being a part of things. Okay, next up we have, how do horses? And the first question is, how do you breed horses in Minecraft? I don't know. Next question. How do horses sleep? So we went over this just before. Horses will sleep standing up majority of the time, but they do need about 2 hours of deep sleep lying down every 24 hours, which they do in little increments, like 15 minutes, depending on the horse. So sleeping, it's standing and on the ground, both ways. How do Charlie horses happen? So I'm pretty sure a Charlie horse is actually like a cramp that you get in your leg. I don't know how they happen, I'm sorry. I just imagine like back in the day there was like some horse called Charlie, and he was just like super grumpy, and he just kept biting everyone, and so like cramps became called Charlie horses. That's my theory anyways. Just making stuff up now. How do you get Charlie horses? Again, I don't know. You probably need to eat more bananas or something like that, isn't it? Like when you have not enough potassium. Again, don't quote me on this, please. I mean, this is technically off topic, Peachy. Do you know how you get Charlie horses? Are you a Charlie horse? Is that why you're nibbling me? How do horses mate? Peach, do you want to take this one? Do you want to take this one? So when a mummy horse and a daddy horse love each other very, very much, you end up with one of these. Why do you get Charlie horses? Told you this already, guys. You probably like need to eat a banana. Just an equestrian, I'm not a doctor. Stop asking me. Alright, time for the next one. What do horses eat? Grass, majority of the time. They also eat hay. We also hand feed them, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are very aware of. If you're not an equestrian, you might not know that. I'm not going to go through it all because there are a lot of different grains and vegetables, and there's a lot of things that get fed to horses, but grass is the main one. What do horses eat in Minecraft? I don't know. I don't know. Minecraft hay? Minecraft grass? Someone who actually plays Minecraft can tell me down in the comments below, okay? Because I don't know. What do horses like to eat? Honestly, horses are really not that fussy. They like to eat a lot of different things. Grass, obviously, again, the main one. I know Peach loves carrots, and so does Fletch. That seems to be their favourite treat, if you're asking about favourite treats. And the next one is, what do horseshoes do? So for me, there's basically two things that horseshoes will do. Number one is they're going to act as a tool to help correct a horse with abnormal or injured feet, hooves, whatever you want to call them. But for example, Fletch needs to wear hooves on his front feet because he has very, very poor feet that stem back to his racing days, and he's got extremely low heels. So his shoes bring his heels up off the ground and make for a much more comfortable position for him. So the second thing that I see horseshoes... Whoa. Can you just calm down? You're getting sleepy now. So yes, the second thing that I sort of see horseshoes as doing is allowing you to do more intense work with your horse, essentially. So for example, when I eventually decide that I'm going to start training cross country with Peach, then I will start to put shoes on her. Number one, because it just acts as sort of like a protective tool on your horse's foot. So the shoes are essentially going to help with impact. They're going to make sure that her feet don't chip and break up from the additional work, and it also means that I'm able to put studs into the shoes, which would give me extra traction if we're going to be riding in slippery or wet conditions. So yeah, that's like another thing that horseshoes are able to do. Okay, what do horses look like? Not sure who's googling this, but they look like this. They have 4 legs and a long... Peach is like, I'll show you. How would I describe you? They're like a giant rectangle on 4 sticks with a very long face and swishy tail and mane. And that is a horse. I think that describes it. You reckon? Is that just... Yeah, okay. Yep. Giant rectangle on legs. Okay, I just don't understand how this is like one of the top searches. What do horses do? Like, exist? I don't know what the answer to this is. I mean, like, okay, Peach, what does a day in your life look like? It's 95% of it is literally just bumming around the paddock eating grass, and then I mean like a little bit of drinking water, a little bit of scratching Fletch over the fence, and then maybe I might come down and ride her, and that probably takes up about an hour and a half of her day. Yeah, that's like pretty standard. You reckon? Yeah, that's about right. Peaches, yeah, that's pretty much my day. That's what I do for a living. You're also a YouTube horse though, so that's what you do. Time for the next one. It is, when do horses stop growing? So I believe it's about 6 or 7 years old is when they stop growing, so they do grow for a very long time. So Peachy here, a lot of you guys would know, is 4 years old, so she is still growing, and most horses will... I know, you're still growing, it's not done, you've still got a bit to do. But for the most part, the horse will stop sort of growing in height at about 2 or 3 years old. Like most horses will reach roughly the height, like they still will grow a little bit, but it's more like a maturing sort of growth that happens in those final years, having to do with their back and their neck and things like that, and their brain, of course, too. When do horses sleep? So horses sleep like more intermittently than we do. It's not like us where we lie down and like sleep for 8 hours at night. They sort of will go and sleep for like 15-minute intervals. So basically they will get down like every few hours and do like a little mini sleep, because they are like prey animals at the end of the day. So they've still got that inbuilt thing in their brains where they don't want to sleep for too long, because it puts them in a little bit of a, what would you call it, like a vulnerable position. So yeah, they just have little mini sleeps on the ground, and then obviously sleep while standing as well to sort of snooze, which they do like throughout the day and night. Yeah. Okay, so another breeding one. When do horses breed? Peach will tell you that it is whenever they want, because She's the mother to a surprise foal that was born in the middle of winter, which is the worst timing possible. So generally in Australia, people will put their mares in foal probably around summertime is the most common time, like early summer, because it is like 11 months gestation. So by the time next year rolls around, the foals are going to be sort of born in that like spring, summer time, which is ideal sort of time of year to be having horses, because the weather's obviously really mild and the grass is really, really good. So usually that's when horses would be breeding. Okay, when do horses start racing? In my opinion, far too early. Just gonna leave it at that. Moving on. When do horses need shoes? Okay, so I mean, we already kind of answered this question just before, but number one, I would see it as helping your horse out with an injury or just not great feet. Or number two is that you're going to be doing intense work with them and they need the added support of a shoe or the traction that comes available to you by being able to put studs into a shoe. And another one I feel like we've kind of already answered, but when do horses lay down? Some horses lay down quite a bit, some not so much, but generally it's when they need to have like a proper sleep, which usually does not last for very long, which is why you don't always catch them laying down, but they definitely do. And finally, we have, why do horses wear shoes? Okay, I won't answer this again because we've already gone through it. Refer to previous questions. Why do horses neigh? So neighing is the way that horses like verbally communicate to each other and to us. There's a lot of different kinds of neighs. They're actually pretty identifiable. Like the horses, for example, do very specific neighs when I come out to feed them. I also... That was a big yawn. They also have a very specific neigh, like for example when you take them away from their friends and they're yelling out to them. So yeah, you can sort of read them. Why do horses have manes? I don't actually know, but I'm gonna guess and say that it's probably insect protection. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Someone can correct me down in the comments below if they have another reason for having manes. What's the answer, Peachy? You don't know either? She's like, I don't know, it's just so I have a nice hairstyle. Why do horses eat manure? Okay, so I think I've actually covered this in a previous video, but the theory is that if your horse does eat its own manure, it could be a sign that they're not getting enough grass or roughage. So that's the first thing to rule out. If there isn't enough grass, then you just need to make sure you're providing them with enough hay. And the second theory to that one is that you might have something that's deficient in your horse's diet. They might not be getting enough of a particular vitamin or mineral, whatever it is, maybe not enough salt in their diet, and they're trying to counteract that. So you probably need to go back and revisit what you're feeding your horse because they might not be getting enough of something. Okay, so this next one is for you, Miss Peach. Why do horses paw the ground? I don't know if it's going to appear in this video or not, but Peach has been pawing the ground a bit because her hay ran out. So in my opinion, pawing is generally a sign of frustration. So Peach was pawing because she wanted more hay and she couldn't reach it, so she was over it. The other time I see horses paw a lot is like maybe you have them tied up, for example, and then you take one of their friends away and they get really frustrated that they can't like come along with and they start pawing. So that's my best guess, is generally it's a frustration thing, and she's literally doing it right now. She's like, I'm bored, let me out of here. Oh, Peach, you're going to be very happy because this is the final question now. Why do horses wear coats? So basically horses wear, well, I call them rugs, but horses, I mean, there's kind of like two reasons to rug a horse. Number one is to keep them clean, particularly if you've got them in ridden work. It's just much easier to have a horse that is clean and ready to go when you get them out of the paddock. Because, you know, if they're too dirty and dusty, you have to do a lot of cleaning before you're getting tack on them. And then the other reason is to protect them from weather elements. So if you live in a particularly cold climate or like somewhere where it rains a lot, then most likely, like we do here, you're going to be rugging them to protect them against that. So if there's one thing I've learned from today's video, it is that there is definitely a lot of non-equestrians and Minecraft players Googling horse questions on the internet. If you guys are enjoying watching us, make sure to subscribe. I do put a video out every single week, and if you want to see more of myself and my 3 horses, you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at hand.equestrian. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye! Hello you guys, welcome back to Peachy. Am I gonna have to carry you back to the paddock? You sleep hen?